Hello and welcome, everybody. It's Online Learning in a Hurry guest episode 10. And today we have my good buddy, Laura, who's come to visit us. Hi, Laura. How are you?
Hey, Dave.
What are you here to talk to us about today, Laura? Tell us all about it. First of all, tell us where you are and how you're doing and whatever. And then
Right.
tell us what you're up to today.
Well, I'm in North Carolina, but I teach online courses for the University of Oklahoma, and the courses were already online. So we're just cruising along. And what I'm going to talk about is the model that I've used for teaching online courses since, ta-da, the year 2002, which is that my students blog. They all have blogs, and we've been doing blogs. Do you remember blog lines with the plumber?
I
Yeah.
do.
So we've been doing blogging before people thought blogging was passe. So we rode the ride up when blogging was all
Yeah.
cool, and we've ridden the ride down where people don't realize blogging is totally cool. So the students set up blogs on the very first day of class. It's the
Hmm.
first thing they do. They choose which blog platform they want to use, but most of them have never blogged before.
Right.
And so I recommend using Blogger because it's really simple. And I
Okay.
mean, really simple. And so there they are. First day of class, they have a blog. And everything they do in the class leaves some kind of trail at the blog. They write up their notes about reading, their ideas, their to do lists. It's kind of like, you know, how you had a spiral notebook
Hmm.
for class back in the day, and all that excitement, like at the beginning of the semester, you're going to get the spiral notebook and it's open and you fill it up. And so their blogs fill up, right? Because they're writing 5 or 6 blog posts usually a week.
Wow.
And then it becomes a network because you can take all those blogs and combine them so that I can see all the new blog posts as they come in, and the students can too. We put that inside the LMS, and so they see the blog stream. And that's one of my favorite moments of the class is when I add their blog to the network. I say, look, we're going to take over Canvas because, like magic, there are their blog posts inside Canvas, right? And so the LMS now really is a learning management system because everything they're learning goes in the blog, and then the blogs show up there in Canvas. And the reason they look at the blog stream is to see what other people are learning and doing, and that's different from a class discussion.
Yes, it
I'll
is.
admit it's a totally different dynamic, but I honestly prefer it to a class discussion because it allows reflection. And if you see stuff that doesn't interest you, you just pass it on by. It's not a negative judgment. It's just like, I'm not into vampires. I teach mythology, but I'm really into, elves and fairies or Greek mythology or whatever. And so people seek out what interests them for themselves, and they write about what they're interested in their blogs, and then they connect with other people through their interests. And it just, for me, it works great.
So
So I
we were
love
talking today
blogging.
in a course I was involved in. We were talking about abundance and its impact on education. So you teach one of those fields where, you know, 30 years ago, you had the books you had available and you had some things, and maybe it was hard to get the Anansi tales or like other things that were from other
Yeah.
cultures that were difficult to get your paws on. What's been the impact of abundance on your kind of teaching, and how does that blend in with blogging?
Oh, it's been really exciting because when I first started back in 2002, it was kind of like Gutenberg, Sacred Text Archive, the full textbooks that I could get online were really limited. Now, it was plenty. It was great. The classes worked well, but now with digital libraries and stuff online, when the students tell me what their interests are at the beginning of the semester, it's like, have I got books for you?
Hmm.
Books and books and books. And so I built a gigantic blog that has thousands of posts in it. That's 100 different mythology and folklore books for them to choose as they read in the class. And since I built that as a blog, that was really cool too, because they see me blogging and that
Yeah.
gives them all kinds of ideas for what they can do with their blogs. Now, they don't want to build a blog with 100 reading units and thousands of posts, but just to see that, blogging is not just a what I did today kind of thing. Like there's this sense some people have, I think, of blogging as being kind of like a personal diary, and it's not. It's an online space that you use for a purpose, and so the purpose in my classes is to document your learning,
Yeah.
and I do that too. I blog to document the things I'm learning and what I'm
Yeah.
working on,
Same
but
here.
you can also use it for content development, serious content development. So I've got a blog I call Free Bookapalooza. Anybody wants to use it, it's out there, it's open, of course, and it's got about
We'll put the
1,500
link down
full.
there. The link
Oh,
is right there. We'll put it there.
good, good. There it is, the invisible magic link. So it's got 1,500, I think now, books from Internet Archive, Project Gutenberg, sacred texts, places like that, mythology and folklore for the students to browse. So at the
Amazing.
beginning of the semester, it's just like, guys, you're not going to believe all the stuff we've got that's just a click away. So for me, the online space is just rich and full of stuff. And that's why I also, I've taught online for a long time. And if you put me back in a classroom, it's like, where are all the books? Where's the art? Where's the music?
Man,
This is like some hotel room, this classroom. It has nothing. And so when I can convey to the students, that's why we're online and why it's really exciting. That's such a great feeling. And I think it's been hard for me the past few weeks to watch people going online under duress for reasons they would never have chosen.
yeah,
That's so different from being online when you're just excited and you have all these things you want to share with the students. And that can be true for every discipline, like you were saying about abundance. I don't know what people's different fields are, but for sure the internet is full of amazing
yeah,
stuff in your field. And one of the most valuable things you can do is be the guide to that internet for your students. Things that you just take for granted and seem obvious to you aren't going to be obvious to your students. So sharing links with them, teaching them how to use like advanced search features of Google, advanced search features at your university library. Basically advanced search, anything is usually not part of what students know how to do.
yep.
But if you can show them how, they'll run with it, right? I mean, they want to use their time in ways that are valuable and meaningful to them. And so you give them the tools to do that and then let them do those valuable and meaningful things. They will. That's my experience anyway.
That's fantastic. So,
So
what I'm going to ask the question that all the naysayers are about to ask right now. Yeah, but what about those students who don't want to actually blog? What about those guys? What about that, huh?
haven't met a single one, but you need an escape hatch, and that is called pseudonyms. So every semester I have a few students who write totally pseudonymously. And
Pseudonymously.
I
That's good.
actually said that, I've
I like
typed
that.
it. I'm not
That's
sure I've ever
very
actually
good.
said
I
it
like
out
it.
loud. Um, and so by the end of the semester, like when I go to fill out the grade form, it's like, God, what was his name?
What's his real name? Yeah,
What
that's
is that
right.
guy? Travis in my
Yeah,
class. There's no Travis here on the
yeah.
list.
Jimmy the
Oh,
Saint. Who's Jimmy the Saint?
yep. And so that is, I think, the option that people want. If trying to hide your digital footprint is hard, but using a pseudonym is easy. And then it's your pseudonym's digital footprint. It's not yours. I got into pseudonyms because when I was a undergraduate at Berkeley, they had a strict upper limit on the number of units you could get, and you had to graduate or move on. And I like doing these intensive summer language workshops, which are like 15 units a pop. And I had so many units that my junior year, I enrolled in summer school under a pseudonym. And it was so much fun picking my pseudonym. And then I went to my Italian TA and said, it says Louisa here on the thing. I'm not really Louisa. You actually know me. My name's Laura, blah, blah, blah. And so I love pseudonyms even back in the pre-internet days. And now the internet, we can use pseudonyms all the time. And I think we should. I mean, it's a great option. So to the naysayers who talk to me about FERPA and stuff like that, pseudonyms have been the solution that's worked for me. So
Fantastic. Thank you so much for this sort of crisp introduction to blogging. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a fantastic day, and everybody else who's paying attention, I hope you have a fantastic day, and we'll see you all tomorrow.